This is my continuing coverage of the healthcare law. We are on page 70 right now. And we go towards the bottom of the page and we read, restrictions on use of federal funds. This agreement shall include a requirement that no portion of the funds made available by any loan or grant under this section may be used for carrying out propaganda or otherwise attempting to influence legislation. This would probably be more in the lines of advertising. You can't advertise your co-op using federal funds, or trying to tell people not to get into the state exchange because you don't believe in the federal government type thing. You can't do that with these funds, okay? And, of course, for marketing, which should be more in the lines of trying to promote the co-op exchanges. Nothing in this clause shall be construed to allow a person to take any action prohibited by Section 501c29 of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986. And you can look that up for yourself. Failure to meet requirements. If the Secretary determines that a person has failed to meet any requirements described in Clause 1 or 2 and has failed to correct such failure within a reasonable period of time or when the person first knows or reasonably should have known of such failure, such person shall repay the Secretary an amount equal to the sum of 100% of the aggregate amount of loans and grants received under the section plus interest on the aggregate amount of loans and grants received under the section for the period of loans or grants were outstanding. The Secretary shall notify the Secretary of the Treasury of any determination under this section of a failure that results in the termination of an issuer's tax-exempt status under Section 501c29 of such code. Okay, so in other words, not only do you have to pay back every bit of money that the government's given back to you plus 10%, but you also have to pay interest on top of all that. So, if you don't meet the requirements of your co-op the way that the Secretary wants, you're going to be paying back a lot of money. Be careful becoming a co-op. Time for awarding loans and grants. The Secretary shall not later than July 1st, 2013 award the loans and grants under the co-op program and begin the distribution of amounts awarded under such loans and grants. And then we go to the advisory board, in which we're going to have to go all the way to page 71. In general, the advisory board under this paragraph shall consist of 15 members appointed by the Comptroller General of the United States from among individuals with qualifications described in Section 1805c2 of the Social Security Act. Well, at this point, you guys probably want me to look up Section 1805c2 of the Social Security Act. I will do that in my next video, and until then, I want you to stay tuned.